Welcome to this experiment. This video will present the main parts of the experiment. Thank you for your participation. This experiment studies expressions of confidence in probability assessments. The Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, the IPCC, uses confidence in uncertainty reporting. For instance, a latest report states, it is at least 66% probable, that is, anywhere from 66% to 100% probable, that annual mean wave heights will increase in the Southern Ocean as a result of enhanced wind speeds. Medium confidence. In such uses, confidence is understood to be related to the justification for the probability assessment, as borne out in factors such as the amount and quality of evidence and the degree of agreement among experts. The experiment will last around 45 minutes. You will be paid €10 for your participation. There are no right or wrong answers. Please answer as truthfully as possible. The study concerns ways of expressing confidence and understanding confidence assessments. The data will not be used for any other purpose. You will be asked two sorts of questions. Questions about your personal confidence in certain climate statements. Questions about your understanding of the confidence expressed in certain climate statements. All the statements involved in the experiment are based on assessments contained in the IPCC's latest round of reports, the so-called Fifth Assessment Report. We now present the first collection of questions about your personal confidence. In this part of the experiment, you will be presented with probability assessments based on those reported by the IPCC, such as the following. It is at least 66% probable that annual mean significant wave heights will increase in the Southern Ocean as a result of enhanced wind speeds. You will first be asked whether you agree with the assessment. Then you will be asked several questions about your confidence in it. On the one hand, you will be asked to express your confidence in the statement by clicking on the term that best describes it. The other sorts of questions will involve urns containing 20 balls, each of which is red or blue, but in an unknown proportion. Such urns are as indicated here. Your only information about an urn's composition comes from observing draws, with the ball being replaced in the urn after each draw. For instance, you may be told that 12 draws have been made from such an urn, half of which were red. The number of draws is indicated here, and the proportion of the colors here. For example, 6 red balls were drawn and 6 blue ones were drawn. You will be asked to reflect upon your confidence in the following probability assessment. It is at least 40% probable, that is, anywhere from 40% to 100% probable, that the next ball drawn from the urn is red. Now consider a new urn, from which 60 draws have been observed, half of which were red. This is indicated here. For example, 30 red balls were drawn and 30 blue ones were drawn. And consider the same probability assessment, namely, it is at least 40% probable that the next ball drawn from the urn is red. Since you have observed more draws, the assessment is based on more evidence. You may thus consider that you are more confident in the assessment in this case. This would suggest that, for a larger number of draws, you are more confident in the assessment that it is at least 40% probable that the next ball drawn from the urn is red. Statisticians generally consider that, in such cases, 100 draws or more warrants very high confidence in the probability assessment. That is, stringent statistical tests would recommend the assessment on the basis of these observations. All urns mentioned in the experiment contain only red and blue balls. The only information about their composition comes from the reported draws. Moreover, each new question in the experiment will involve a new urn. None of the observations mentioned in previous questions will be relevant. So the number of draws shown on the screen is the total number of draws observed, for instance, 60, in the case of this figure. You will be asked to compare your confidence between given IPCC-based probability assessments and the probability assessment concerning urns from which a certain number of draws have been observed. For instance, you may be asked whether you were more confident in the probability assessment discussed previously concerning wave heights, or the probability assessment concerning the urn, after having observed 100 draws, half of which were red. For a given treatment, you may face a series of such questions, with differing numbers of draws. For instance, you may be asked to compare your confidence in the climate assessment with your confidence in the assessment about the urn after 100 observed draws, then after 48 draws, then after 36, and so on. For each of these questions, you are being asked for your personal judgment as to which assessment you have more confidence in. We now present the second collection of questions, which ask not for your personal confidence but your understanding of expressions of confidence. Here, you will also be asked how you understand confidence assessments drawn from IPCC reports, such as: it is at least 66% probable that annual mean wave heights will increase in the Southern Ocean as a result of enhanced wind speeds. Medium confidence. In your understanding, how much confidence do the authors intend to communicate by this assessment of medium confidence? You are asked to indicate your best estimate of the corresponding amount of confidence in terms of draws from urns by moving the slider here. And you can indicate your minimum and maximum for the range of draws yielding corresponding amounts of confidence by moving the sliders here and here. The figure of the urn indicates the slider values for the best estimate and the minimum and maximum. In these questions, you are not being asked for your personal opinion, but for your best understanding of the confidence level that the authors intended to communicate. The experiment will be organized as follows. At the end of this video, you may begin the experiment. It starts with several introductory questions about yourself. Then there is a phase in which you will be asked about your personal confidence in climate assessments. This is followed by a phase of questions about your understanding of expressions of confidence, and then another phase of questions about your personal confidence. The experiment ends with several general questions about the climate, and the opportunity for you to give your feedback. At the end of experiment, after all questions have been answered, you will be paid. After having completed all the questions in the experiment, you will be paid €10 for your participation. Payments will take place after all subjects in the session have completed the experiment, so you will have to wait for the last subject to be finished. This means that there is no rush to complete the experiment, and you can take your time in answering the questions. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you once again for your participation. If you have any questions, now or during the experiment, please do not hesitate to ask the assistant.